This is the honest truth about going to singles events. My first piece of advice is you can't take it too seriously. Like, you have to go into it thinking, I'm doing this for the plot, because you don't want to put any pressure on it. Go in with no expectations. Like, you can't take it too seriously. Last piece of advice is just be a girl's girl. Do you see a girl who showed up by herself and she doesn't have anyone to talk to? Call her over, bring her in. I've actually made really cool friends by going to these types of events.
Yeah, that's productive. Pay to go to meet a man at a singles event and then make friends with other women that also paid to meet men at a singles event. Listen, ladies, you have scared men away. We just don't feel comfortable going to these places. We don't feel comfortable at the gym. We don't feel comfortable at work. We don't feel comfortable at the bar, at social events. You know why? Because you say we're all harassing you.
Paying money to join a singles event only to end up befriending other women who also came to meet men, that's wild. Ladies, men aren't showing up anymore because every space you've touched turned hostile. The gym, the office, the bar, everything feels risky now. Normal conversation isn't flirting or harassment, it's just conversation. But you labeled it all toxic, so men stop trying.
If you can't answer to the man who you having a baby for, you can't answer to nobody. 80% of y'all ain't even married to the man you're having a baby with, so you ain't answering to him.
Yeah, but a lot of black men out here broken. They are. And I'm not saying they not.
Stop.
They not. I'm
Stop.
being honest.
Stop.
I love black
Stop.
men.
Stop. That is another of those classical, typical deflections.
No,
What does a
not.
broken black man have to do if you don't let him inside your womb? Thank you. You're making babies with crazy men and broken men. Don't ask for it, and if you do it, you take all the smoke that comes with it. You can't argue that. Do y'all want to sit around and talk about the black man? This is on y'all.
Yeah, but it's different because we actually don't want to give up on black men.
That whole simp era. It's over. When men were lonely, we had to deal with it alone. No sympathy, no safe spaces, we just adapted. Now, women are facing that same silence, and the difference is, they won't handle it nearly as well. Reality's coming, and it's not pretty.
Stop saying that man planned to get you pregnant because he couldn't have made the plan if you didn't open your legs. Women will always say, well, he planned to get me pregnant. He got me pregnant on purpose. He couldn't have gotten you pregnant if you didn't allow it. You didn't require a condom. You weren't on birth control. He didn't commit to you. There was no requirements for him having your body to make a plan of you bearing his child. And it only takes accountability off of you to put it on him. He didn't force you to open your legs. And I'm not talking to anyone who has been in a situation where they were taken advantage of. We're talking about two consenting adults. So trying to get sympathy or someone to feel bad for you because you decided to not be a responsible adult. If you are grown up to have sex, you should be grown enough to take certain precautions to prevent pregnancy. But every time, a woman is pregnant again for the third time, he tricked you. He planned to get you pregnant. Come on. Let's be mature. Let's be accountable. And let's stop doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Most men have checked out of the dating circus entirely. They're focused on building themselves money, health, and peace. While they're out grinding in silence, women are throwing pity parties and calling it independence. Enjoy the emptiness that comes with it.
He wasn't the fucking one manipulating. He isn't a fucking narcissist. She, for God knows how long, has a track record of saying every single fucking man she's been with is manipulating her, gaslighting her, and is a narcissist. So you're telling me that out of all the millions of people in this world, she ends up finding all the men that are narcissists? Are you fucking delusional? He treated her right. He did everything right. He got the car, he got the kids, he gave her everything, he worked his ass off, and when he came home to the most toxic fucking female in the world, and now, because she's turning everyone against him, he's the narcissist. Yet another one, a narcissist. Grow up, use your fucking head, and realize not every single fucking man's a narcissist.
Now they're trying to shame men for choosing peace over partnership, for staying single, for focusing on themselves. But using money to attract women doesn't lead to love, it leads to being used. Men have learned the lesson. Stay single, stay focused, and protect your peace because nobody else will.
There's so many sexless men, and that's just not healthy. What are they doing wrong?
They're doing a lot of stuff wrong. They need to get their health sorted out, get their finances sorted, and miraculously, if you start making more money and you start hitting the gym looking good, you might start feeling more confident. You might start walking around with more self-esteem. Okay, that is contagious. Women can smell that on a man.
True.
And when women hear men talk about this, they can't even process it. They don't get how different life is for the average man. She opens her phone to hundreds of DMs. He gets ignored for simply existing. The imbalance is unreal.
So I went to a singles event, and when I got there, it was literally 90% women. And I was like, I'm gonna go now.
But let's be real, men aren't walking away because women are ambitious or successful. They're leaving because of the constant attitude. Most men want peace, not endless ego battles. Yet instead of self-reflection, many double down, arguing louder and loving less. Then they wonder why men quietly disappear instead of chasing anymore.
There's been a rise in singles events, meeting people kind of off apps, getting people off apps is a big thing. What a lot of the stats show is that people that go to these events are mainly women. Why do you think men don't go to these things?
What nightclubs are to men is what single events are to women. So if you're a guy going to a nightclub, one, you're going to have to pay to go in. Women go in free a lot of the time because the clubs are looking for women because they bring the guys, right? So the clubs invite women because it brings the guys. So one, you're going to have to pay more than the women to go in. Two, realistically, to get any kind of attention or succeed with a girl, you kind of have to be in the top 5% of guys in the club, either in terms of looks, in terms of status, or in terms of money.
Table.
Right? Exactly. 3, 9 times out of 10, the kind of girls who are regulars at nightclubs generally aren't the kind of girls that you're wanting to choose for a wife anyway. They don't have certain qualities that you're looking for long term.
Now it's all, where have all the good men gone? Well, they left when you mocked them, belittled them, and bragged about not needing anyone. Men heard you loud and clear, so they stopped showing up. You wanted space and freedom. Now you're sitting in the silence you created.
At every singles event, it's all women.
That's exactly
I don't want to do them anymore because it's so hard to get men to sign up. And I had one a few weeks ago, and one of the guys was like, please do this again. This was awesome. I'm like, I will do it again if you promise to get friends to come. Like, it's so hard to get guys to sign up. And he's like, no, why would I want more competition?
Yeah.
But why? Like, I guess both perspectives. Like, what do you think? But also as a guy. So if you told me when I was 27, hey, there's a singles event where there's going to be 20 to 25 really cool women, I'd be like, yeah, like that's sick. Like, why would I not go? I go to the bar to meet the single woman.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I go to the singles event where they actually want to meet me too?
Yeah.
But as guys, why did we never go to them?
Yeah, doesn't it take away like the thing of rejection? Like,
well, my perspective was this. I feel like guys are super sensitive to get rejected. And when you go to a singles event, there's an expectation that you should hook up or you should like meet somebody.
Yeah.
And if you don't, it's like, oh, well, you got rejected. And maybe if you hit on somebody there and they don't like you, it's very in your face.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get rejected at a bar, it's so like sugar coated and it's so like
kind of disappear.
You can disappear or like just pretend like something happened. You could hide.
Think about it. What guy wants to pay for rejection? Who wants to drop money on what's basically a job interview with appetizers? You pay for entry, food, and small talk, only to walk out empty-handed. Men aren't stupid. They know the odds. Nobody wants to pay to be ignored.
Guys coming in, they're like over 6 feet tall. They're making over 6 figures and they're wealthy. They're not unattractive. They actually put themselves together pretty well. And the fear I see is 2 fears. One is fear of rejection. They're terrified a woman's going to reject them and he's going to like die on the spot because his life is over. So rejection feels like death. The second piece though is fear that somehow if they do connect to a woman, that she has no desire for love. She's going to be a complete sociopath and just ruin his life, because that's what we read about online mostly. And that he's utterly terrified of being alone, but he's equally terrified of being not alone. And they're trapped in this endless spiral.
And even when they do try, the fear is real. One wrong word and you're branded a creep. One misunderstood comment, and you're viral for harassment. With clout chasing and false accusations everywhere, is it any wonder men stop trying altogether?
Men need to stay single because majority of these women are not worth your time. These women be having all these standards telling you, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta jump through all these hoops and hurdles to get them, knowing dang on well these are unrealistic expectations. And you know what? You could thank social media for that, because all these women have all these thirsty dudes in their DMs, all these simps that's all on these dating apps, telling them what they want to hear, telling them all these things, and they get the big head thinking that, you know what? Well, all these dudes want me, so you know what? I am gonna raise my standards. Don't be focused on them. Just stay single, focus on yourself, build yourself up, because I'm telling you right now, if you go out here and try to live up to these women's standards, you will lose.
Then there's the classic line, I'm ready to settle down. Translation, my options ran out. After years of chaos, now she wants a safe place to land. But men see the pattern. They're done being cleanup crews for someone else's mistakes. And don't even get me started on the victim act.
There are more single men without kids than there are single women without kids. Yet the narrative online would make it seem like it's men out here that got kids and it's hard to find a man who don't have baby mamas. No, it's actually more in reverse. I always say the loneliest person is a single man.
In what universe?
In general, there are much more lonely men, and the loneliest person is a single man, not a single woman. Because again, if that single woman tomorrow decides, I want a man's attention, she can do a few things to make it happen ASAP. I don't care who she is. That man does not have those same avenues.
And you saying they not getting no action, Jackson?
None.
Wow.
Some women flip the story completely, crying about a pregnancy they fully agreed to, blaming the man like he trapped them. That's not victimhood, that's entitlement. You made a choice, own it. Accountability isn't oppression.
Women are going to keep themselves bitter, broke, and angry because they are mad at men, and they have this movement called decentering men. I don't think that it's new, but it's definitely a movement that is catching more waves called decentering men, where basically women are saying that they are removing men from the center of their lives and they're not considering them. They don't care about them. They don't want to date them. They don't want to deal with them. They think that they're scary and all of this other dumb shit, because they think that men are a monolith, when in reality it's the culture a lot of times that keep you broke. And it also keeps you dating the same people that you don't want to take accountability for, the person that you opened up your legs to and had a child with, and now you got the results, and certain men don't want to deal with you and you're not getting the results that your mother or your grandmother had, and now you want to blame them and saying that they were under duress. In reality, they were happy and they had strong families, and it translated into a strong economy and a great neighborhood, and we tore it up and we decided that we want to remove the family, and now we want to have children out of wedlock. And then they're using red pill as an excuse for why they want to be angry instead of dealing with their trauma. And for the people in the back, in which I don't consider myself at all, not even remotely, as a red pill content creator. I've been successfully married. I have majority women employees for over 20 years, successfully married for over 20 years. I majority employ women. I have a daughter that's awesome, and my wife is black, for everybody that keeps saying, hey, Anton, do you got a white wife? I don't. Red pill is just removing a veil from men's eyes to the reality of what they got to deal with in society, especially when it comes to relationships. It comes from the movie The Matrix, where the blue pill kept you in La La Land, where essentially you were given a perception of what reality is so that they can harvest you and use you as a battery, when in reality, if you took the red pill, if your mind was ready, it basically shows you that everything ain't all peaches and cream. This is the reality. It doesn't mean hate women. It doesn't mean that anybody is angry. And of course, there are going to be angry people, and I hate angry people on the far left or on the far right, whether it's politics or relationships. Anybody that's extremes in their view and not just talking about the reality and the truth, they're not good for society. But the reason why we're broken is because we don't have strong households. That is the number one way that you bring up community and that you actually make sure that everybody and a dollar and strong people and people go to college and they don't have debt and all of this stuff. But instead of us dealing with our trauma and dealing with the truth, we want to blame it on red pill. We want to blame it on a lot of different things. But one day you're going to wake up. One day you're going to wake up and you're going to say, you know what? All of these funky, evil people actually led me down the path of destruction. And instead of me holding myself accountable, instead of me being honest with who I am, I decided that I wanted to blame it on a whole nother group of people, and that don't necessarily translate. At some point, you have to take ownership and responsibility. And I'm not telling you that you got to go back to men, because men don't care. What I am telling you is that you don't want to wake up broke, angry, and hungry because you made the wrong decision of who it is that you wanted to follow.
It's the same story every time, no accountability, just manipulation and blame. He trusted her, supported her, did everything right, and still got painted as the villain. Men have to wake up. Not every victim story is real. A lot of them are just deflection.
My dad was the piece of shit. My dad was the piece of shit when my mom lied and put him in jail, and then kept him in jail 6 months at a time on 2 separate charges so he couldn't pay child support, and the charges were for not paying child support. My dad was the piece of shit for working 103 hours a week because the state was taking almost 60% of his check when he was out of jail so he could have any living money at all. Yeah, my dad's the piece of shit for my mom being the abuser and for being a manipulative narcissist, making everybody think that he was the bad guy. My dad's the piece of shit for my mom cheating on him, leading to them getting a divorce. And even though she got the house and he paid for almost half the thing, she got it foreclosed on 6 months ago after 25 or 30 years of paying down a mortgage. Getting like 2 or 3 reverse mortgages. Yeah, my dad's a real piece of work. Probably his fault that she spent 90 days in jail for embezzling $50,000 from her job that only got discovered when her boss died in a motorcycle accident. That's probably my dad's fault too. I love blaming men for things. I think it's the best thing that any woman could do is just to blame men. Because if you think about it, a woman being a single mother and being abusive to her kids, there couldn't be any correlation there. We should not actually blame women for that. You look at the stat that single mothers are responsible for over 80% of the abuse that comes from women, and then ask yourself, why are these women single mothers? Could it be that they are abusive? Could it be? No, it couldn't be. There's no correlation there. That a woman is left because maybe a guy had to leave to protect himself, and that woman who's left alone with the child because she lied to the state about how bad he was, even though he had to get away from her being abusive, she then continues to abuse her kids, and no one blames her because she's good at lying. You know, actually, that's where I learned to lie from my mom. I was a compulsive liar most of my life, and I was great at it. And I got into sales, and I made millions of dollars in sales. Now I'm a YouTuber because I was able to turn that fancifulness into creating educational videos on how to do Airbnb. I know how to just have enough flavor and stay educational. Thanks, Mom. Yeah, but let's not give guys credit for transcending their child abuse and doing something good with it. Let's just blame men that the situation was ever created at all.
Then there's the favorite line, all men are broken. But who raised those men? Who chose them? It's never about self-reflection, it's always blame. You can't make adult choices and then cry victim when life gets hard.
Went to a singles Mgtow, and only women showed up.
Empowerment without accountability is just hypocrisy. Even kids are starting to notice. They see the truth behind all this dysfunction. Society keeps painting men as villains, but children see which parent actually creates chaos and which one walks away to protect their peace. We glorify the wrong people and call it empowerment. The truth? It's just dysfunction with lipstick.
We had a good time the last time, remember?
What I remember was that we spent half the time praying for husbands when the husband should have been there that night at the event. No.
You're being dramatic. It was a few dudes there.
It was 3 guys there, and 2 of them were there with their girlfriend. And then the other one was there with his wife. At a singles event.
It wasn't that bad. I'm telling you, it's going to hit tonight.
No, I'm not going to any more singles events, not at your church, okay? Where the ratio is 12-1. No, I'm not messing with you, bro. I'm not doing it. Hey, how y'all doing? y'all doing? What's going on, sister? How are you?
Hey.
What's going on, sister? Y'all doing all right?
Good evening.
And when men finally walk away, they're labeled cold and heartless, but in reality, they're just done being drained. Because let's face it, women aren't victims of patriarchy, they're victims of their own entitlement.
I have everything every guy wants. I don't know why I still can't find a man. Enlighten me. What does every guy want? Well, I'm financially free, outspoken, educated, sexually experienced. Okay. What else? Those are all positive things, except for the sexually experienced one, which we can touch on another time, but that's not what a man is seeking. Ladies, your life achievements are not what makes you valuable to a man. Your femininity is what makes you attractive. And typically the boss babes that you find empowering are going to exhibit ultra-masculine traits that are frankly unappealing. Men will choose the waitress that brings him peace over the neurosurgeon that puts her career above all else. Are there outliers to this? Always. But if we're drawing generalizations, men are going to be most fulfilled when they have a purpose, and will choose a woman whose lifestyle and demeanor best fits the mold to allow him to complete that mission.
This generation of men is waking up tired, scarred, but aware. They've been raised in broken homes, taught to people please, and shamed for showing strength. But that era is ending too.
As a man who grew up with a toxic, verbally abusive, broke mother, that will sabotage you in life. Like, you'll go out into the world, and notice that you're a people pleaser. Like, you're like overly polite, overly too nice to people. Even people who don't even deserve it. You'll catch yourself, overreacting to certain situations that don't require an overreaction. Basically, reacting to problems like a little bitch. You get into relationships, and when dealing with your significant other, if they come out their mouth and call you something, say a bitch, due to your mother calling you that all throughout your childhood, and you were unable to sock her in her shit, you ready to sock that woman in her shit. Basically, single mothers, cause this trauma upon men. We grow up having to, have to, figure out how to be a man and figure out how to not be a bitch, because you were basically programmed to be a bitch all throughout your adolescence. The majority of incarcerated males were raised by a single mother. Like, surveyed, like they, went through the line of these inmates, and got the background on them. So I'm just saying, like, they shouldn't be raising no men.
Men are rebuilding themselves from the ground up, redefining masculinity, healing, and protecting their peace like never before. Society didn't break men, it broke itself by mocking responsibility and calling chaos empowerment. Now, the silence from men isn't hate, it's self-preservation. They're not walking away out of bitterness, they're walking away out of clarity. Because peace, purpose, and progress. That's what real men are chasing now.
Today's episode of Manosphere Daily. If you enjoyed the content, give it a like. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified as soon as a new video is out. Share your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.